President Trump is expected to sign over 200 executive orders Monday. Here's what to expect. So we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna do a deep dive into some of the things that we know from reports that President Trump is gonna uh, sign and do executive orders to push um, his MAGA agenda mostly. So we're gonna talk about it, but before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Red State, and they report that when President Trump takes the oath of office Monday, he's expected to get right down to work. The first order of business will be to sign executive orders to begin the long process of unraveling and unscrewing the morass of truly horrible decisions and policies put into place by Marxist and progressive. Uh, the Venn diagram looks a lot like a single circle. Activists who use a semi deranged Joe Biden as a sock puppet. One of the orders that will be given will stop all rulemaking initiated by the previous administration and freeze any policy guidance currently in the works. Although that may not be an executive order, it will have the same effect. According to reports, Trump is anxious to avoid much of the confusion of his last term and send a message to allies and enemies, foreign and domestic, that he means business. That's right. Trump is not playing around this go round. We've already seen the first hint of this in his official portrait. We all seen the portrait. Here, go here. He he is looking stern. He's not smiling or anything. He's not playing around. Well, whether it is his idea for, I'm sorry, whether it's his idea for one big beautiful bill. I love that he keeps saying that, to ram through his multi-trillion-dollar legislative agenda. His hunger for a deal to end the Russia Ukraine war and perhaps fulfill his first term dream of a Nobel Peace Prize. His desire to acquire Greenland, the Panama Canal, and Canada for the United States. The Canada part is really, he's joking about the Canada part. Or his insistence to an advisor that he will keep signing executive orders on inauguration day until my hand breaks. Mr. Trump has indicated that he wants to begin his presidency with the demonstration of strength. He knows from experience that he must move fast. He begins his presidency as a lame duck. And after the 2026 midterms, when attention will turn to his successor, Mr. Trump will be unlikely to command the same sway with congressional Republicans and corporate America. Quote, we had a 40-seat Republican margin in the House in 2017, and yet there was trouble ticking off the list of accomplishments, said Kellyanne Conway, uh, his 2016 campaign manager who served as his senior White House counselor in his first term. This time, there's a slimmer majority, yet larger mandate. President Trump knows he can move with um, alacrity, and immediacy. I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen that word before in my life. Alacrity. But interviews with more than a dozen people who have recently spoken with Mr. Trump describe a president-elect who views his power much differently than he did on the eve of his first inauguration in 2017, because he knows that the swamp is nothing to play with. They're going to come after him. He's prepared this time. Back then, he was on the defensive. The resistance to his presidency was fierce after his shock win, and he was more differential to Washington veterans, heeding their advice on whom to pick and what to prioritize. Now he smells weakness all around, on Capitol Hill, in the C-suite, and in the news media, and he sees himself as his own best advisor. So here's the big ones to look for. Border National Emergency Declaration. Wall Street Journal said Trump is expected to declare a national emergency on the border. Republicans briefed on the call said, which would in turn unlock additional Pentagon funding and assets to help address the matter. He is also expected to order troops to help build more infrastructure at the border. The president elect will direct his administration to relaunch a policy known as Remain in Mexico, which I've done a report on that before, which requires migrants seeking asylum at the southern border to live in northern Mexico border cities during the U.S. court proceedings. Um, the Washington Post claims birthright citizenship is on the menu. I think I might have talked about that as well. I have doubts about that, but if it happens, it will definitely set off a much needed national conversation on the anchor baby syndrome we've allowed to develop. And then energy. Energy is really, really big priority for Trump. Fox News reported that Trump will fully unleash Alaskan energy, which the official described as essential to U.S. national security. The senior official told Fox News Digital that the energy executive order deals with, quote, every single energy policy and addresses liquid natural gas, ports, fracking, pipelines, permitting, and more, while all terminating President Biden policies, he said, quote, have constrained the U.S. energy supply. And I agree, that's exactly what it did. It's definitely constrained the energy supply. Wall Street Journal said Miller also discussed what he called an energy omnibus with the Trump aide describing a wide-ranging directive that would declare a national energy emergency, according to one of the Republicans on the call. Trump would also move to terminate Biden era restrictions on drilling and policies promoting electric vehicles while calling for cutting spending on efforts to address climate change. The Politico on abortion said Trump is expected to reinstate potentially as early as the first day back in the White House a policy restricting foreign organizations receiving U.S. funding from providing and promoting abortion with other sources of financing. I know y'all know I'm all for that. And then what it has to do with the drug cartels, Wall Street Journal said Trump also plans to designate cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and restrict entry to the U.S. likely through a travel ban. It couldn't immediately be learned how any travel ban might work. Depending on how aggressively this is pursued, it could lead to direct action missions by Delta Force, SEALs, and other organizations against fentanyl labs and drug infrastructure in the majority of Mexico, where the Mexican government has no authority. It also opens the potential for using military units to direct to in, I'm sorry, interdict drug running by air and sea. And then we got DEI. Trump is expected to appeal Biden's executive order requiring DEI to be embedded in all agencies, which is just ridiculous. It's again, y'all know how I feel about this. It's merit over that bull crap. But it goes on to say, I fear this order may arrive a little late. The FBI has already disbanded its office, but moved the personnel into the human relations and equal opportunity offices. I'm sure this has happened across the government. They just moved it. They just moved it. They just no longer call it DEI. Federal workforce, Schedule F is back. This change converts any civil service position that develops agency policy from a protected to an at-will position. This means that many of the burrowed-in leftists who want to play resistance warriors will have to give up their civil service protection to move out of a policy position. If Trump can make this stick, it will be amazing. Extended work at home will be a thing of the past. Wall Street Journal said part of Trump's effort to overhaul the federal government will be aimed at rewriting hiring rules for employees and creating a new process for hiring others. The president-elect will again sign an executive order known as Schedule F, which he issues in October 2020 to eliminate job protections for federal workers, the Republicans said. The Biden administration had previously blocked the order. Fox News said the official also said Trump will fully reform the federal bureaucracy by reestablishing presidential control over the career federal workforce and make clear to federal workers that they can be removed from posts for failing to comply with executive directives, which is it should that's how it should be. Where on earth can you totally ignore your boss and keep your job? Like, that's just crazy, right? This should already be happening. So I'm glad Trump will be putting this into place. And Trump will sign an executive order to strengthen presidential control over senior government officials and implement a new merit based hiring review, which it should be. Trump will also take action to return federal workers to in person work. The part about firing officials for engaging in unlawful obstruction is essential. In the first Trump administration, civil service people routinely lied to Trump appointees about the scope of their power and how things were done. That needs to stop. Again, because people voted and the person running the country should have say in what's going on. It shouldn't be a bureaucracy stopping that from happening. The bureaucracy should not stop the will of the people. Hiring and NGO funding. Fox News said Trump will also establish a new Department of Government Efficiency hiring freeze. The official said gain control over foreign aid and NGO funding. The administration also plans on shutting down funding to NGOs until they can determine what they are up to. Much of our problem at our border is exacerbated by NGO funded by the federal government carrying out their own immigration policy. This is how this is how this is how Biden was able to allow this open border policy is by funding the NGOs, and the NGOs help the illegal immigrants cross this border. Then we got payback. Fox News said Trump on his first day will also suspend security clearances for 51 national security officials who lied about Hunter Biden laptop ahead of the 2020 presidential election. And that's a big one there. There has to be some type of accountability. You sit there, you lie, you do these things to try to lie to the American people so they're misinformed, and you got national security clearances and you think you're gonna be able to keep that after you lied to the American people? Absolutely not. I'm so happy that this is happening. And then we got sex definitions. According to Fox News, Trump is expected to sign an order definitively answering the age-old question: what is a woman? I'm laughing because it's obvious, and it's a shame that we have to even ask this question in 2024. This is ridiculous for federal agencies. Um, Tomorrow promises to be a bang-up day. Not only will Trump be back in the White House, he's going to be in charge um, in a way he probably never, in a way he probably never was last time around. Sorry, y'all, I was struggling reading a little bit with that today, but I'm happy. Monday is going to be a celebration, a day of celebration. But y'all, let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.